Get more muscle for your money with Dixie Chopper mowers. We've been handcrafting the fastest and toughest mowers in the heartland of America for over 35 years. Whether you're a homeowner or commercial landscaper, Dixie Chopper has a full lineup of zero-turn mowers with 0% financing for 48 months. No other mower has the speed, power, and performance of a Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower.
Your local Dixie Chopper dealer is Brooks Contractor Supply, located at 2748 Highway 441 South, Dublin. Hey, welcome everyone. We're out at Dublin High School again, caught up with Coach Roger Holmes. And Coach Holmes, last time we talked to you, you were really just starting your workouts in the summer, and now we're in the heat of the battle, so to speak. We're in the heat of the moment. It's hot weather. I know you're working out in the mornings. You're working out in the weight room. You got them on agilities. You're doing a lot of things to try to make the Irish win this year, aren't you?
Well, we sure are, and we couldn't be happier with a group of young men and the way they've worked this summer and their work ethic and attitude. And, you know, anytime you deal with the summer, sometimes it's frustrating because a lot of different things going on.
Right.
So you don't always have everyone there. But
yeah.
we've been really excited about the way our kids have progressed through the course of the summer. Looking forward to getting some things going as next week is going to be a big week for us.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit earlier, and we want to make sure everyone knows about the opportunity to come watch the Dublin Fighting Irish and some passing games.
Well, actually what we got going on next week, and some schools started doing this 2 or 3 years ago in the state of Georgia, is we're going to host a camp on Monday and Tuesday, and then we'll host another camp on Thursday, Friday. The Monday, Tuesday, we'll practice at 9 and we'll practice at 2. And the players will be in shorts, shoulder pads, and helmets. They won't be in full gear, but it'll be almost full contact type scrimmage work against other schools. And you don't get the opportunity to do that very often. Monday and Tuesday coming in will be Greene County, Montgomery County, and Toombs County. So we'll work against each one of those teams over those 2 days. Wednesday's an off day. We come back on Thursday and Friday, and we're going to have Washington County here and Dodge County. So people are welcome to come out. Most of it will be going on it'll be on the practice fields.
Right.
But they're welcome to come out and sit on the hill if they want to watch some kids compete. And,
sure.
And some about as close to real football as you can. You know, the 7-on-7 stuff is good.
But you're adding shoulder pads.
Yeah, it'll be.
And moderate contact.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so we'll do individual work. We'll come together and do group work, and then we'll come together and we'll do 11-on-11 team type scrimmage work. So it'll be fun for some people. And if they got some spare time, a day off, want to see a little football, come on out to the practice field area here at the track, and you're welcome to be here. We'd love to have them.
Yeah.
And those times again are 9 in the morning, 9 to 11:30, and 2 to 4:30.
Okay, all right. That's a lot to look forward to, Coach. And first time you've done this, I know 7-on-7 has been popular for a while. You go here, you go there, and it's just for, an hour and a half, usually an hour, something like that. But here it is, you got camps going on. You got 4 days out of a week that's really going to show you where your kids are.
That's the big thing. You know, anytime when you're limited in numbers, or even if you have a lot of players, what you run into a lot of times is your starters are a level above your JV kids.
Sure.
So when they line up and they're competing against each other, you're not really getting that true indication of what the starter's capable of.
Sure.
Now we're lining up against somebody else's best players.
Right.
So it will hopefully show us some of our strengths, but it'll certainly show us some of our weaknesses as we go into our fall camp and try to prepare this football team as best we can.
Yes, sir. And so how you feel in the backfield? Let's talk a little bit about your quarterback, your running backs.
Well, we've moved Ramon Pittman to quarterback, and Ramon is probably the fastest kid on our football team. He's had a great off-season winter. His strength should be his ability to run the option game for us. We think his passing abilities will continue to improve as the season goes along, because that's the last thing that quarterbacks actually are able to learn. It's a repetition thing. It's easy to go out and throw in 7-on-7.
Yeah.
But now when those live bullets start coming
that's right.
and
When
the
that big
pressure's
lineman's
on,
coming
it gets
on
a little
you.
tougher.
Sure.
So we think we're in good shape there. Johnny Willis has been a tremendous running back for us for 3 seasons. He ran for over 1,000 last year. He's returning at running back. We've got a young man back that was not eligible to play last year in Quan Hicks, very explosive type running back. We think look for good things from him. And then Samaje Kitchens last year had to step in when Larry McGirt was hurt, did a really good job for us at fullback. So those 3, along with Quatarius Smith, give us some big play potential in our backfield. Our offensive line, the key to the wing T's, your offensive guards, and we feel like we've got 2 good guards in Robbie Allison and Chris Burnett. We've got a couple of young guys behind them. They've got to really improve. Levante Walden got a lot of snaps last year for us at tight end, and he's returning. And a new kid for us did not play as a freshman, but a young man named Bruce Guyton is a young man. We're really excited to see what he's going to do when those lights come on Friday night. And then our center and tackle spots right now are wide open. We're inexperienced there, and think we've got some kids that can handle the bill, but we'll know more about it by the end of next week.
Right. Yeah, what an excellent opportunity. So, and a key position there,
Yep.
All right, let's talk about the other side of the ball.
Defensively, we feel like that we've really got a distance to go on the defensive side of the football.
Right.
Robbie Allison returns anchoring the line. He's been a defensive end for us the last couple of years.
Right.
We're probably going to move him around, sort of like the J.J. Watts kind of deal, but we're going to move him to tackle inside, more interior for us, but he will play some defensive end. Chris Burnett, we mentioned both of those are our guards, but Chris has always been a defensive end. We're looking at moving him to middle linebacker, seeing how that experiment goes here early. We've got Jermaine Cooley, a freshman, that is we think has a load of potential. He's already about 6'2" and about 200 pounds. And,
all right.
But you never know if a freshman's ready for Friday night. But if he is, that'll help us. So Johnny Willis will play some linebacker for us. Quatarius Smith is a returning DB. Pittman will have to play some in the secondary. A young man that's going to help us on both sides of the ball, Fred Williams, senior, is played some wide receiver and DB. And I don't want to forget another young man that was on the basketball team has decided to come out, and he's had a good offseason to this point, is a young man named Keon Stanley. Keon's playing some wide receiver and DB. So we've got a lot of question marks, but as when we started talking, I'm excited about their work ethic and their desire. A young man named Montarian Carswell will be a sophomore. He's got a chance to really do some good things. And right now we're excited to have Barry Brown back. Barry was gone for a year. He moved out to Trinity, and it just wasn't a fit for him. And so he's decided he wants to be back at Dublin, and that answers a whole lot of questions for you in your kicking game.
Sure. Yeah. Vital part. So good to have him back, I know, Coach.
Yeah. Well, he's a fine young man, and, he just without making it any other way, he thought that's what he wanted to do. And then when he got there, he'd been here his whole life, and he missed it here, and he wanted to get back with his kids and teammates, and we're glad to have him back.
Glad he's wearing the green again.
No doubt.
Yeah. Okay, so, Coach, you really, with what you normally do, you got maybe 14, 16 players you put on the field. You're going to put your best kids out there.
Right now, that's what it looks like. And, we don't want it to be that way, but as it stands right now, that's kind of where we are. We're young. But the reality of it is, as the season goes, I think we'll be able to add more and more kids to the lineup, and that'll make us better.
Yeah. Coach, how many years you been here at Dublin?
This starts season number 14. It's been Dublin has been a great place for my family. Both of my children are graduates of Dublin High School. My son started in the 3rd grade. Was well prepared for what he's been faced with at the University of Georgia. He's maintained about a 3.8 GPA, and he'll be graduating at Christmas. Awesome. And then my daughter started through kindergarten and went all the way through, and she's at Georgia Southern, and proud of her. She made the all-girls cheerleading squad there, so I guess I'll be attending some Georgia Southern games. But it's been a great experience for our family, and something that we're very appreciative of is the opportunity to be here in Dublin and to work with our young men and represent this town of Dublin with Dublin High School football.
We all may need to borrow money from time to time. In today's market, it's vital to find a lender who can give you the greatest number of options. Here at Community Bank of Dublin-Lawrence County, we can give you the credit options you deserve. You will receive one-on-one service from a helpful lender. Whether it's building your dream home or buying your first car, we'll work with you in every way we can. Community Bank of Dublin-Lawrence County offers the latest technology in the banking industry. We're putting common sense banking into practice every day. Come visit us soon and you'll see why Community Bank of Dublin-Lawrence County is the bank that service built.
Now, over those 14 years, plus you coached many years before you came here, you've seen a lot of groups come together. You've seen kids gel, you've seen them not. So it's very encouraging that you say this at this point. You know, these young men, they have the work ethic. That's the place to start. We know you teach technique. If you're willing to work, then you'll teach a player what to do.
Well, that's the coach's job.
Yeah.
You know, you want young men that are eager and they want to learn. And if you can get that type of people, you know, a lot of times attitude and desire will overtake pure athleticism. Not always, but a lot of times. Sure. And that's what's beautiful about high school football. You know, there's a lot of young men. I know that there was a linebacker, I think, last year maybe at West Lawrence. Yeah. Was pretty small to be a 4A linebacker. But that doesn't mean you can't be a phenomenal high school football player. We've had D'Angelo Darsall that played for us. Didn't weigh 130 pounds, but was a heck of a high school football player. So we're not talking about the NFL. We're not talking about Division I college football. Sometimes a man with a big old heart and a small body can still be a tremendous high school football player.
Coach, you got some different people on your coaching staff.
Well, right now we've got one young man that has joined our staff that wasn't with us last year. His name is Vincent Davis. Vincent played his high school ball down around Fort Lauderdale. He coached at Branch Eli, which is a phenomenal program in Florida. He progressed there. He took a job in Texas. Then he went to Illinois, or Indianapolis. And we interviewed him about 3 years ago, and we really wanted to bring him on board at that time. We just didn't have the spot. And we've stayed in touch. He was coaching wide receivers at Howard Payne University in Texas. Wanted to get his wife closer to her family in Florida and himself, and it was a great fit. We're extremely excited about what Vincent brought to the table. He's coached a number of wide receivers that are playing Division I football. He's coached a couple that are in the NFL right now.
Awesome.
His family, he's got a brother that got a pension out of the NFL. So he's been around the game of football. He's got a lot of contacts. It's going to help our kids have opportunities to go on and play at the next level.
Great.
So anytime you can bring on a great coach that can also benefit in a lot of other ways, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, good job on that. Now, Coach, you got some players that still contact you that are at not only college level but pro. Let's talk about the kids that still ring your phone at day and night.
Well, one of the biggest things that we had happen in the last month or so is I'm sitting at home one night and I get this phone call, and it was Cedric O'Neal. And Cedric is entering his senior season at Valdosta State.
Yeah.
And, you know, the thing about Cedric to me that's so impressive, and I told all the scouts when they were coming through recruiting this young man that he had a tremendous ability, but the number one thing is Cedric was having problems passing and getting the test score that he needed to get a fully qualified to have the opportunity to go play. And the young man, on his own, of course he was encouraged to do so, but he had to do it on his own.
Right.
He was in that school building every morning, an hour before school ever started, with his teachers, working, getting help, doing the things that he could do to improve that test score.
Right.
The last opportunity he had, the test was taken in June, and the score came right in at the last minute. He finally got that test score that he needed, and he was able to get eligible to play at Valdosta State.
Yeah.
He goes in, freshman year, he wasn't supposed to play. They didn't intend on him playing. Well, he ended up earning the starting job as a running back. They won the national championship. He was the player of the game in the national championship game as a freshman, was a freshman All-American. But said, he's preseason All-American again this year.
Yeah.
I think he's got his head right. He's got his goals and his dreams. I think he'll get a shot to try to make an NFL squad.
Awesome.
That looks good. He talked to our young men yesterday, and it was phenomenal. And, the one thing that he beat me up on, and I made him a promise, is he got on me that night because I haven't been and watched him play live in a game. That's important to him. And I said, now I've watched every game you've had on TV. It's been 4 or 5.
Sure.
I know, Coach, but I want you in the stadium. So the promise has been made. Coach will be in the stadium at least for one game to watch Cedric play this year. But
And how proud that must make you, Coach, because you saw him come all along, and what a explosive running back he was for the Irish. I can remember covering games, and he would just elude tacklers up and down the field. He read blocks well. Seemed like he stopped on a dime, and he's such a big kid.
Well, you already see him now. You maybe you'll get the
215,
opportunity.
isn't he?
He's about 212, 215, and solid. And the thing that I appreciated, and a lot of times, I think if we've got any parents listening, this is kind of huge. Cedric told me on the phone when he called me, he said, Coach, we knocked heads a little bit. I said, yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And he told the players yesterday when he was talking with them, he said, Coach chewed my butt a lot of days about effort and attitude and what it took to be a winner.
Yeah.
He said, now I know what was going on. And that's a lot of times these young men go home and they're upset because Coach got on them.
Yeah.
Or Coach challenged them, or
Sure.
Coach pushed them. And, well, you're trying to find that point in that young man that's given him the intestinal fortitude to stand up and compete for whatever job it is that's out there, for whatever opportunity it is to be successful. It's easy to back away from that, but it's hard to go stare it in the eye and go compete for it. And I think Cedric, what he told those kids when he lined up, and I told them the story from the Valdosta coaches. The first drill he lined up in at Valdosta State was a one-on-one drill with an All-American linebacker. And the coaches felt like that this linebacker was fixing to
Eat his
tear
lunch.
Ced up.
Yeah.
And by the end of the play, the linebacker was laying on his back and Ced was still running.
Yeah.
And he turned everybody's head. Said, wait a minute.
Who's this kid?
Yeah, we knew he was pretty good or we wouldn't have signed him.
Yeah,
but
first year he had over 1,200 yards, I believe it was.
Yeah. And, but he told our kids yesterday, and this is what's so important for the high school athletes or middle school kids that are listening to this. He said, all of that's great, but what I want you guys to know is I'm graduating at Christmas. 3.5 years, I'm graduating.
Wow.
And I'm going to have my degree. And if I get a chance to play in the NFL, that's great. And that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
But if I don't, I've gotten my degree. And there's his story to our players is this about being cool isn't really what it's all about. It's about achieving the things that are going to make you successful. So I hope you get the opportunity to bump into Cedric. He's just been a phenomenal asset to our school and our community. And, of course, we've got Eric Walden still playing.
Yeah.
We've got Brandon Coney is at Mercer's. Quan Mitchell has been a starter at Clark Atlanta. We've got Jawan Wells right now that just left town, headed to Liberty. Trey Coney is going to be at Reinhardt. And Brian Williams, we never really got it out, but he ended up signing with Fort Valley. So he signed a scholarship with them, a young man that played for us last year.
Yeah.
And he's got everything done that he needed to get done, so he's headed out here in about a month. So we still got 6 or 7 of them out there competing.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to next week as well, Coach, and the season ahead. Once again, thanks for all you do.
Appreciate you.
Dublin Auto Sales is where good deals and good people meet. So if you're in the market for a quality used truck, van, SUV, or good dependable car, see Wayne Kemp or any of his friendly staff at Dublin Auto Sales, 511 North Jefferson Street in Dublin. Quality vehicles on both sides of North Jefferson. Call today at 275-2010. We've got a great selection for you to choose from, so hurry in today to Dublin Auto Sales, where good deals and good people meet.